Your Honor, the defendant argues that evidence of the parties' oral agreement should be excluded because it contradicts a contract term intended as a final expression. Well, that's not accurate. The intent of the plaintiff is not to contradict the timely discount payment term, but to supplement it. UCC 2-202B permits a contract intended as a final expression to be supplemented with evidence of an oral agreement, so long as such additional term be consistent with the express terms of the contract. Here, the timely discount payment term, as written, is unenforceable. The written contract contains a discount for early payment, but it does not define its amount. This is why the oral agreement takes place in order to determine that the discount would be 15% on any amount paid before the payment day. This provision is definitely consistent with the purpose of the early payment term, which is to encourage early payments through a discount over the sale price. Therefore, we argue that evidence related to this oral agreement is not barred by the parole evidence rule. Also, even though the defendant repeats in several occasions that the parties intended this contract to be a complete and exclusive embodiment of all terms agreed to by the parties, the defendant still requests this court to construct the meaning of the term where the parties describe the specific standard of quality expected in the gin. As previously stated, the plaintiff does not reject that the UCC permits contracts intended as a final expression to be either supplemented or explained with extrinsic evidence. However, the defendant intends to introduce expert testimony to prove that within the gin industry, the description all natural with no additives or human-made materials also includes gin that can contain trace elements of GMOs. With respect to this matter, the UCC section 13-303E states that express terms of an agreement and usage of trade must be construed only if consistent with each other. If such a construction is contradicting, as in the present case, the express term of the contract must prevail over usage of trade. At this point, we would like to cite the holding in Nanakuli v. Shell Oil, where the court applied the reasonable harmony test and the complete negation test to decide whether a piece of evidence is consistent and supplementary or contradictory. Applying this test to the present case, the evidence of usage of trade offered by the defendant would be barred by the parole evidence rule because the experts will testify that all gin in the industry contains trace elements of GMOs, which not only cannot be reasonably construed as consistent with the description made in the contract, but also because the incorporation of usage of trade completely negates an express term validly formed by the parties in the written agreement. Thank you.